How you doing, everybody? Randy Richard in the shop, and today I'm going to start a new project and try to get that drawing to show up. Might not like the white. Anyway, it's pretty simple. It's basically a rod over here, drilled and threaded with a counter bore, and then the little foot piece is right here. Threaded portion and the little foot. The diameter is 5/8 of an inch, and the threading is on the foot it will be 1/4 and on the one other end it will be 1/4. It's about 2.8 inches long. It's going to take up a foot for approximately 3 5/16 in height, and it has to be a little bit of adjustable. It's for a leg for a sewing table, plexiglass sewing table. I've made several of these, and this one's for my oldest daughter for a new sewing machine. So they have a bigger platform to move the fabric around and stuff on. Anyway, so I'm going to do this a little different than just turn it on the lathe. I have to make 9 of them, which isn't a lot, but it makes it there's a lot of operations to each piece. So what I'm going to use is my Logan lathe, and I have a turret attachment for it. And I don't think I've ever shown it in a video, and I'm going to run through showing you how that works, the setup of the tools, and a few little things about that. Things you got to think about using a turret, especially on a manual lathe, but it's kind of the predecessor to CNC kind of thing, right? But it's manually done. It's fun. It's kind of fun to use. I haven't used it in a little bit, but we're going to really get some of these operations down. We'll go over to the lathe and get this done. Here's my Logan lathe set up. You know, if you guys see me use this, I actually use it quite a bit. It's really, really good for small stuff. It's an 11-inch lathe, 36 between centers, 11 inch. It's built in it was about 1956-ish lathe. It's a model 922. I have a turret attachment for it that I got with the lathe. I also have 5C collet attachment, quick change attachment for it also that I use. The turret attachment, I don't think I've ever shown it in a video, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on here and start getting it set up here. I'm only going to make 9 parts, but it's a lot of operations, so it's kind of worth it to use it, and it's kind of neat to show you. Anyway, so we're gonna first take off the tailstock. Comes right off, pretty easy. Set that aside. Get the ways all cleaned up here a little bit. Just wipe them down. Some whey oil on. The thing probably weighs 40, 50 pounds. It's pretty heavy. There we go. Okay, so here's the attachment. It sits on the ways, obviously. And this is a 6 tool post holder. 3/4 inch holes here. I got a couple adapter pieces and sleeves and stuff in there. And you got the handle back and forth. These screws on the end here are adjustments for each tool as far as the length of stroke goes. You have as the turret will turn. Let's see here. I don't know if I can do it right here, but there we go. When you come all the way back, it turns to the next tool. And this also rotates. Of course, you can't see anything because everything's in the way. So this way, anyway, so these are depth stops, and you just adjust these, and then there's some loxy set screws for how far in you go. Because once you get this set, on your ways, you want to find this location where you're going to lock it down. And then everything is controlled with the depth stops as far as how far in you go. Well, let's get it up there and get her locked down, or up on the ways, I should say. Okay, I got it set up there, and we just slides right on, just like, you know, tailstock goes, right? And there's these two bars set up so that, there's one in the back, and then there's one here in the front. That's it for now. This here is a stud, is for a mechanism to pivot and rotate an arm like that, in that fashion, instead of using this. Now, next we'll get some tools and show you the setup we're going to do and the drawing of the part. Here's the turret. This is a 6-position turret. There's 3/4 inch holes in here for the tools. You might have to put a bushing in or to reduce it for some tools and things like that. You might have to have an adapter, make an adapter. You'll see that there's several adapters here. I have my tools in the processes I want to do. This first tool here, it's just a positioning tool. You pull your piece out, your stock out of your chuck, you'll butt up against this, and you can push on it and to the collet and stop and lock your collet in the right position for the length. It's in the same position each time. Next tool, as we turn it, center drill. Now this tool holder is adjustable. It will pivot here. These are slots, and you can move this around. Of course, and you can rotate it in the block. And it has a nice little V, like a little V block here. And I can clamp any tool in there. I could clamp a drill, tap, whatever in here, and I just have a center drill in it this time. And we'll come in and we'll center drill. And as we come back, we just go right to the next tool. This is a drill holder. It could also be a tap holder. It all would matter how big an opening you have here in this piece here. Now you can see that moves. This has like a rubber disc and stuff in here. This is flexible. I got a number 3 drill in it right now, and you do the same process. This is so that this can center up easily. And then you boom boom. Next one. This is another drill type holder, or round something holder, right? Actually, it has a 1/2 inch hole in it, and this is a little made piece, adapter piece to hold, and I drilled it out till it holds a 1/4 inch drill. I have a 1/4 inch drill in there right now, and this is a little bit of adjustable, so I can get it centered up. And I have an adapter on this end also to fit the 3/4 hole. And you'd come in and drill that. This is for the countersinking. And we'll go flip over here. Now this is another one of those rubberized drill holders, but I have a countersink in it. And this has a 1/2 inch shank on it. Now and this one is big enough I can make other holders to hold smaller stuff, right? Or bigger stuff even, and still go in there, as long as it goes in a 1/2 inch. This is in another adapter to get it a little farther out, just something to fit in there, and we countersink, and we go back. So, and then over here we have a 1/4-28 spiral fluted tap. These are a dead-ended hole. Get the chips out. This is a tapping kind of head, and it's got a clutch in it. And this is a number 1 size R&L from R&L Tools, Philadelphia. And what will happen is you'll run this tap in, you'll pull it in, and that will be enough to kick the clutch, hopefully. That's what you want. Then you stop your lathe and hit it in reverse. Lock again and push, and you can give it a little helping hand here on the handle, and it'll back the tap right out, and you're back to start position. We're going to do some other operations. We're going to take a few thousandths off the outside to clean up the outer surface, and we're going to do a facing and parting. Here's the collet check, and the piece is in here in the position roughly where it should be parted off. Actually, it's very close. Then we're going to come in here with this tool and face it off. Then we'll release the collet. We're going to pull this out. It's only going to need to be 3 1/8 inches out from the collet. Here's our stop piece on the turret, and we'll add just a little tension to the collet, and we'll push that back in like that, and then lock the collet. Now it's in position. Then we're going to do all the operations with the turret. Always run a practice piece, whether it's with the material you're using. You really should do one with the material you're using eventually, just to make sure everything's going to go all right as far as your speeds and how speeds and feeds and things, and surface finish. A lot of people will use Delrin or some other plastics to run their tests on. Delrin is pretty good, but it is a little more flexible, so it'd be kind of hard to stick this much out on Delrin and make a decent size. One thing about the turret attachment, now you can get it into the right position here, where and then you can actually turn this. You don't have to use the handle every time. You get it in the right position, and it is free to turn. One bad thing about the turret is that when you come all the way back and then go forward, you have to come a certain distance before the trigger will trip, so that when you come back it rotates. So if you don't go that far, the head won't turn on the next process. So, and that from all the way back, it's about two. Let's see here. It's about about there. It's about 2 1/4 inches that you have to come before it will do that. So anywhere in between in there, and it actually only comes back part way anyway. It doesn't, but it will not rotate still. I lost an inch there, right? So, but once I get to about 2 1/4, then when I come over, it will work, or it will rotate. So you got to make sure you leave enough room. Is what I'm getting at by showing you that. Is that you have to have enough room, so you have to stroke it that far. So when you come back, it rotates. Plus, if the tool is long, you need room to clear possibly your tool post and stuff. So, these are all these little considerations you got to think about. Talk about setting up tools. So once you've kind of got yourself started there, there's your first one to set the length of your work piece. And then on the end over here, we have a depth adjustments. There's one screw for each tool position, and the tool that's in use right now, the screw is on the bottom when the tool's in use. When it's back here, it's right on top. Now there's a set screw to lock that screw in position. What this controls is how far toward your work the travel will be of the slide. So obviously my depth setting tool is longer than my center drill, so I need to have it go farther or travel a different length, right? And I only want to travel in deep enough to do the center drill operation. So that's what you set these for. You set these how far travel is into the workpiece. And you go through each tool and you make sure you test it. This took me about an hour and 15 minutes to get all my tools set up. It didn't really take that long to do, so that you can get them all to work without moving the turret. You want to try to get this so you don't have to move the turret, so you clamp it down and that's where it stays for all your processes. That's the quick and dirty. So now we're going to make some parts. I'm going to try to stay out of the way while we do this. So the stock is just barely sticking out about where it's going to be parted. Okay, so we faced it off. And we will take the tool off so it's out of the way. push it out more than it's needed. We're going to come in, touch, little tension on the collet, just a little bit, not much, just so it holds and sets the tool, or sets the piece. See that center drill? Tap drill. Counterbore, chamfer, slowed it down to back gear for the tapping. So I stopped and then it pulled it a little bit and then it disengaged it. Then I turn the lathe off. Now if I'll reverse it and it should back it out. Just keep a little tension on it as I back it out. Do our cut. Parting tool now, and we just come up and just kind of touch on that. .8 inches. Just using the DRO for this measurement. I wish I could get a stop in there, but I can't quite get one in there. And we'll part it off. Finished part, and it looks good inside, and we'll just keep going until we got 9 of them. Last one.